So the power of the Feynman method is one that's very real, and you might have been going through this process, kind of without explicitly knowing you have. But you've definitely heard the fact that if you teach something, that you learn that subject on a deeper level, right? So whether that's a math concept or whether that's a hobby that you have outside of school, when you teach it, you begin to see it in the bigger picture and understand the details. And so that's definitely been true in my life. Right? When I graduated computer science, with a computer science degree, it's kind of embarrassing to say, but I didn't really understand what object-oriented programming was, what it was all about. I went through the motions. I knew how to put together a program using those principles, but I didn't really understand it in the bigger picture. And it wasn't until I was asked to teach it to students in a classroom that I began to form a deeper understanding, and now it's kind of fluent for me, right? I'm easily able to communicate, object-oriented programming principles and how it applies and how to construct a program, and I have different analogies that I can use, and that's what the power of the Feynman method is all about, right? If we go ahead and look over here, what is it? It's an explanation of the concept to somebody else. And when you explain something to someone else and you're caught with I don't know, right, and you're stuck, it's because you don't really understand that portion of the topic. And so that's going to be a green flag or a red flag to you, that you need to study a little bit more about that to really understand what that aspect of the subject is talking about. And another portion here that was really powerful to me is to use a simple analogy if possible, right? Of course, there's going to be some topics and some concepts where they're so abstract that you can't really use an analogy, but most you can. And for instance, when I teach a intro to coding class and we use Pygame, right, which is like a programming model to build video games, and when I was first learning it just none of it really made sense, because I was learning about one piece here and another piece here and another piece here. I was reading documentation about it, but the documentation did not present a simple analogy, right? It was just kind of talking in a narrative, like this function is used for this and that is used for that, and then it takes this and it does this with it and it outputs that. And it didn't make sense to me, right? And it wasn't until I was steeped in it for a little while that I was like, hey, wait a second. This is just like a projector. And it's just like the projector's being turned on and off once, and we're moving shapes around on the top of the projector, right? And we're basically moving around transparencies on the top of a projector. And recs are the position of these surfaces, right, of these transparencies. And once I was able to make that analogy, everything kind of fit. And then I learned about something else that was, a new aspect to the module, and I could fit it into that analogy, right, of the projector model, or what I call the projector model. And so it's a really simple analogy to describe most of the aspects of that system. And so if I started with that, and if I read that right in the beginning when I was first learning about Pygame, then my learning process through putting together that course would have been far more easier, right? And so that's what I want you to do, is to use a simple analogy that's commonly understood by most people, that fits the concept that you are describing, right? I guess that's about it. And in our next exercise, we are going to look up on we're going to actually be given different topics to study, and we're going to construct what I call a concept map, an associated glossary, and then we're going to present. So hopefully in the concept map, we're going to be writing down the explanation of the concept. We're going to be using a simple analogy, and we are going to teach the concept through a presentation. Okay, so we're going to go through all of these steps. And as we go through the course throughout the year, it is a research course, so you are going to be uncovering topics and facts and insights that you have never seen before, that you have never explored before. And so what I'm trying to train, or what I'm trying to build into the regular rhythm of the class, is the use of this process at every step of the way. Every time you encounter a new topic, encounter a new algorithm, encounter just a new piece of information, that we analyze it in this same way, right? That we teach it to pinpoint what we don't know about it, and we create a simple analogy, and that we use this process to understand at a deeper level, basically hack the learning process, right? Make it faster, supercharge it. And that's what this is all about here.